With the coming of the Turks, that is, between the 11th and the 13th centuries, there was a change in the nature of the political organization. By this time, the Islamic world had also undergone a process of internal transformation. There had been contacts with the classical Greek traditions.
The Islamicate world was opening up, and it naturally would extend this efflorescence into areas where they would have contact. This was also a time when, within the Turkish or Arab world, a new political system was evolving. A new despotic tradition was evolving, which gradually drew together the disparate nomads, the disparate settled communities of the oases, the various horsemen coming from Transoxiana, from Khorasan, from various settlements of the Turks, into one settled community which would be under a despotic umbrella. They had also by this time begun to develop institutions such as Kharaj, which was a land revenue system, a tax of land revenue. They had begun to develop systems of collecting a kind of capitation fee known as the jizya. They had begun to reorganize their military strength, which all added to what we might call the institutional guarantees of a new despotic order. And it is this despotic order which was established in North India in the course of the 13th century.
The first 50 to 60 years of the Turkish rule in India was not the period that saw a single unitary state. These were still regional kingdoms looked after by the generals of Muhammad Ghori.
Muhammad of Ghori's lieutenants, who were left behind by him to look after his extended Indian possessions or territories, one of whom was Qutubuddin Aibak. And Qutubuddin Aibak later is remembered as the founder of the Mamluk dynasty of the 13th century.
The process that had been set in motion as a result of the three invasions finally resulted in the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate.
The Arab invasions, the expeditions of Mahmud of Ghazni, and finally the Ghorid conquests, each had their own story to tell. Each had a particular role to play in the extension of Islam. Islam when it was trying to impress the world. Islam when it was trying to show that this was an alternate system. The conquerors or the military leaders had to seek some kind of legitimacy through Islam. But they were not necessarily carrying the sword of Islam. They were not necessarily out to convert the areas and completely transform the areas of their new conquest into Muslim states. Their objectives were different. The factors which motivated them were different. Different kinds of pressures began to work. And by the 11th and the 12th centuries, the coming of the Mongols, the immigrants who were fleeing from the Mongols, all wanted some kind of stability. They were looking for a place where they could establish their sway, where they could expect a degree of permanence and stability as far as their sovereignty was concerned.
The Arabs, the Ghaznavid and the Ghorid invasions brought the northwest provinces as well as North India in contact with Islam. In course of time, the pressure in the original homeland of these invaders, the Mongol threats, and of course the ground reality in North India brought a change in the focus. It moved into a direction that finally led to the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate.